With a normal person, their body's longer than mine. If my body was the same length theirs, I wouldn't be able to walk on my hands because my body would drag. That's why I can walk on my hands. That's why my body doesn't drag.
He looks from the head down to the waist like any other normal man. He does have hips. Of course, he's got his male parts, but then it just sort of flattens out. That's the reason when he sits, he can't sit straight up. He has to sit at an angle, because to sit flat down, then he would be sitting on his private parts.
I have no legs, so what? I'm no different than you. I'm no different than anybody. I put my shirt on the same way anybody else does. I can't say I put my pants on the same way as everybody else does, but, you know, I eat the same way anybody else does. You know, there's nothing different about me.
He washes dishes, he cooks, he vacuums, he mows lawn. I've never seen him not be able to do anything, no matter what it is.
Kenny has never worn prosthetic legs or relied on a wheelchair. Believing he'd be more mobile and independent without them, he learned to walk using his arms.
I've been like this for 35 years. I've walked on my hands, you know, for 35 years, and I've got calluses. My other hand has them too. The older I got, you know, the more tougher my hands would get from naturally walking on my hands.
Even though he has the calluses on his hands, he has the most gentle hands I've ever been touched by.
Kenny refused to let his disability hold him back. An adventurous child never far from his skateboard. But his thrill-seeking nature did lead to accidents.
I broke both of my wrists sled riding. I flipped off and was aiming towards a telephone pole. So when I flipped off, both my wrists bent completely down to my arms. So now I walk like this.
Kenny's unique body always makes him the center of attention.
I'd be walking through a store and people will stand there and stare at me. It doesn't bother me now. Back when I was younger, it kind of did bother me.
Ignorant people look at him as a freak. But Kenny considers himself a regular person just like I do. He has a feisty attitude, but he has a good sense of humor.
He likes to pull pranks on people because of that handicap. He'll even jump out in front.
Kenny's strong upper body means he can easily swing and climb, but he has to be careful. He was born without a fully formed spine, and falling is not an option.
If I would fall really hard, it could kill me. That's because of that.
But at the moment, life is hard. Kenny?
You should have a home.
Kenny had developed an extremely rare condition called sacral agenesis. It affects only 1 in 25,000 live births. This X-ray shows a baby born with the same condition as Kenny.
The way he was, his legs was like a bat wing.
Frog legs.
Frog, yeah.
His legs were bent like this.
Kneecap.
And there was a big web in here. And his foot was turned like this.
Sections of Kenny's spine failed to form properly, and his legs hadn't developed in the normal way.
The bottom portion of the spine is the sacrum, and that is what is missing. So this part of his back was floating free from his pelvis.
They told us he probably wouldn't live. If he made it through the first 24 hours, possibility, but they didn't think so.
Today, Kenny's back on the streets where he grew up. This is his old family home.
I used to live right there upstairs. That window there, that's my bedroom window. The bottom used to be a store. I used to ride all over town here because back then everybody knew who I was and nobody bothered me.
The film was based on Kenny's childhood experience when doctors attempted to persuade him to wear prosthetic legs. Kenny resisted. They were so heavy that he found them impossible to use, so he was restricted to sitting in a wheelchair.
I don't want to be stuck in a wheelchair or trying to keep my balance on 2 long legs. I don't want to hide either. Why should I feel bad about myself?
They were very uncomfortable. They didn't think that I would be able to cope in the real world.
But Kenny proved them wrong. At 18, after dating his able-bodied childhood sweetheart for a year, the couple married and moved into a home of their own. Unfortunately, the marriage didn't last, and they divorced 2 years later.
I got married at a young age. Terrible mistake. You know, I went through a bad marriage. I went through a really, really bad divorce. I tried going out and getting odd jobs and try to make a paycheck. And I get a door slammed in my face.
As the doors to ordinary jobs closed, 35-year-old Kenny Easterday was born with a rare condition that has left him with half a body. In 2009, he was living with his fiancée, Nikki. The couple first met in the late 90s, when Kenny was single and working on the Jerry Springer Show. The attraction was instant.
Kenny's very good looking. You would not believe the women I have to fight off. We go in restaurants and grocery stores and I have these women walking up, God, I love his hair. Can I rub his hair? Can I just, I'm like, no, he's mine. That's my hair. Don't touch it.
From the beginning of their relationship, Nikki has been plagued by one particularly personal question.
People want to know if Kenny has his private parts. They sort of wonder, with Kenny being cut up so far, if that wasn't taken along with his legs, and it's not. He's just like every other guy.
It's mostly women that ask me, because women are more curious than men. And I think a lot of them ask me because they want to see what it's like. You know, to them, I'm different.
It sometimes seems there's no end to the intimate questioning.
The sex conversation. If I get asked that question again, I'm just going to say, you're just going to have to find out.
We have sex just like any other couple. Kenny has all his parts like any other man. Although we don't have lots of studies on people as affected as Kenny, we do find that people have normal sexual function. So physiologically, there's no reason why Kenny could not be a father.
A lot of people think if I have a kid, it's going to come out with 2 heads or 4 arms or whatever. It's going to come out deformed.
But Kenny can't have children with Nikki, because before they met, she had been sterilized.
We've talked about maybe adopting someday. Adoption might be an option, but right now, no, we can't have children.
And now there's a new...
He called me, Dad, come and get me. I'm tired of it. I gotta come home. And it sounded like he was gonna break down. The tone of his voice. I said, I'll be there as quick as your mother gets home.
They got there, and I basically left with just the clothes on my back. I didn't care about the other stuff. I just wanted to be gone from there.
He didn't look very healthy. Eyes were all dark. big black circles, big bags under his eyes. He just didn't look good at all.
We brought him home. He's been here ever since. I hope that's where he stays.
Gives Kenny some much needed stability and a chance to concentrate on improving his health.
I really do feel that he is happy to be home because he has more independence here.
Any child of his age would want to get away from home and do the thing that he wants to do. But he does whatever he wants here. We don't question what he does.
My kidneys have a tendency to swell. It's from bacteria.
The bacterial infections in his kidneys are caused by Kenny's bladder not working properly. Urine passes from the kidneys down into the bladder. In a normal bladder, when it becomes full, muscles contract to push the urine out of the body.
His bladder doesn't function normally because the nerves that feed the bladder are where the sacrum is, or the tailbone. That didn't form properly in Kenny.
Without these nerves, Kenny's bladder muscle is not strong enough to push urine out of the body. Unable to exit the body, it flows back up into the kidneys, causing infection and swelling.
Just over time, the kidneys have just taken this strain, and so now they're starting to not function as well. And so he's having procedures done to help keep the kidneys to function as normally as they can.
What the doctors has done was just put 2 tubes in each kidney so they can drain individually. There's one in my back, there's one here on my side, right here, and it's very uncomfortable for me to sit. Even sit here on this chair, it hurts, and it's because of the tubes.
Having the tubes inserted under local anesthetic to try to stop the infections means Kenny has avoided having a more serious surgery. But the pain is affecting Kenny's ability to get around.
God's sakes, this is hot.
Fortunately, some of his parents' friends have given him a mobility scooter.
With the tubes in place, it makes it much more difficult to walk around, and with the pain, he sort of wears out a little bit more quickly. So the scooter helps be able to get him around more.
There you go, boss. Get on there. Scoot down the road. Don't go too fast. Go down the road easy. I will. Slow. Be careful. I will. How long are you going to be? I don't know.
Fiercely independent, Kenny has always refused to use a wheelchair, but he has accepted his scooter.
It's not a wheelchair. That's the difference. It's not a wheelchair. There's nothing to explain. It's not a wheelchair. A wheelchair is something that you have to be pushed around in, be helped into. This is not. This here is something that gives you the ability to be able to get around on your own. It could be dangerous if I'm not careful, but hey, I live on the dangerous side.
And now he has his new scooter. Kenny can go grocery shopping on his own, something he was unable to do before.
I got the scooter a few months back, and it takes a lot of the stress and stuff off my body. Before I would have to walk, and I could only walk so far, then I have to sit and rest, and it would take me way over an hour to get where I need to go. So, but with the scooter, I'm there and back in no time. So, it helps. Root beer barrels. I think that should do it.
Now that Kenny is back in his hometown, he is recognized by almost everyone he meets.
We used to play together when we were little.
Okay.
Yeah, he used to come over to our house and
Oh, all right.
you would be on your skateboard and you'd be running down the street with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 2011.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, it's nice seeing you again.
Kenny's adapted to life back home, and his scooter has increased his mobility and freedom. If he can sort out his kidney problem, he'll be able to start to think about finding a new relationship.
I fell in love with you the day I saw you. Okay, sister.
He's still something of a local celebrity.
But there's been quite a few people walk up to him in a store or on the sidewalk or wherever he was at. Somebody we recognized.
None off the top?
Think you'll be back by 5?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Here, let's put this arm down. I don't want you to fall out. You know, move your arm. That's what those are for.
Today, Kenny has an appointment with his doctor for her to check how the tubes are working.
The bumps really hurt, especially when I hit them. It's not very comfortable.
So how are you feeling?
Okay, I mean, with these tubes in me, it's so uncomfortable. It feels like that when I sit, that they're pushing up through me, you know, and it's like they're hitting a nerve. The other day, I actually stepped on the one, and I thought I yanked it out. Yeah.
The tubes were inserted into Kenny's kidneys under local anesthetic to drain urine from them and prevent infections. If they don't work, he will need a major operation.
What basically they're looking at doing is doing a procedure that replaces the bladder that doesn't work as well, to be able to take some of the strain off the kidneys. I think he knows that if he doesn't have the surgery, that his kidneys aren't going to work, which is eventually going to lead to either dialysis or that he's not going to be well and that he may die.
But
it puts too much stress on my body and stuff. That's just something I don't want to go through again.
We'll see how the tubes do first and see how you do. And then I think we just have to keep it sort of on the back burner and say, okay, this is our option.
All right.
I'll see you in about a month.
All right.
All right. If you need anything else, just give me a call, okay?
I will.
Okay.
the doctor made the right decision. 2 weeks later, the tubes have worked, and Kenny's kidney infection has cleared up. Soon the tubes can be taken out. Kenny believes that moving home may have saved his life.
I think that by me coming back home and me getting over the things that I've gotten over was the best thing for me to do. No, Mommy don't need to push us, we can push ourselves. I have to live my life for me and do what's right for me by getting my health back to normal. And now things have become much easier and a lot better.
With his health improving, Kenny hopes one day he'll find a new girlfriend to share his life, even though he's lacking in confidence.
I just think it's hard for me to find a girlfriend. You know, that's why I don't really try. I don't think it's that they don't like me. I think they don't find me attractive. I don't think I'm attractive. A lot of women have actually had sex with me because they were curious. They see me and they think in their head, is he able?
Kenny is heading to the local town library to check his emails. While online, he finds a website about himself. And, to his surprise, some messages from female fans.
I didn't even know this was even on here. You're awesome. Dude, you must be well, strong. Love you. Okay. That's from Annie. I fell in love with you the day I saw you. Okay, sister. Love you, Kenny from Ireland. You're quite a handsome. That's all it says. I never even knew this was even on here. This is really crazy. Really, really, really crazy. If they find me good looking, then okay.
I would like to see him get a girl, start a family, live until he's 80.
I'm not always going to be here. And I would like for him to find somebody that I know would stay and they would be happy. And when, his dad and I are gone, she's going to be there. Like I tell him, the right one, she's out there. Just give it time. She'll be alone.
It's been a turbulent year for Kenny, but now his future is looking bright.
I'm proud of who he is, what he accomplished.
Oh, I know he's amazing.
He knows that too. I don't want to make his head no bigger than what it is.
Kenny's a very amazing young man, and I wouldn't change anything in this world about him. Nothing.
Yes, I've been on Jerry Springer. Yes, I've made a movie. Yes, I've done other things in my life. I'm just a normal guy that wants to live a normal life like anybody else. And just be happy.